have our first panelist, Surina Shukri, the CEO of MDEC. Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning. So nice to see you. They're just coming in, they're rolling as it is. So we also have Dato Chuan, Beng, the champion of digital productivity Nexus, NPC. Hi, Dato, how are you?
Great, feeling great this morning.
Fantastic. So happy to have you here. We also have our moderator, Yan Lim, the CEO of iOli Communications Sdn Bhd. Hi, Yan Lim.
Hi, how are you, Lauren?
I'm good. Thank you for asking. We're so happy to have you here today for our panel discussion. And finally, we also have Mr. Zaky, the Chief of Cluster Development Officer of SME Corporation Malaysia. Hi, Zaky.
Hi.
Hi. Have you had breakfast today?
Yeah, got it already.
Right, fantastic. Now we're going to be talking about digital leadership and accelerating digitalization. Now SMEs will need to accelerate the adoption of digital technologies to boost growth. With the pace of digitalization around the world, SMEs will need to have digital-first mindset. And in this panel, we're going to explore the various types of government support and initiatives to help Malaysian SMEs in the digital world. Now, Yan Lim, as the questions come in, feel free to answer them. And whenever you're ready, take it away.
Thank you, Lauren. So I guess I was planning to introduce our esteemed, brilliant panelists, but I guess you just did that, so I would need to do it. Okay, by the way, sorry, good morning, everyone. My name is Yan Lim. I am the CEO of iOli Communications Sdn Bhd, 100% female-founded, female-led, and female-operated PR agency based in Petaling Jaya, Selangor. So I just had to put it out there. So we have, of course, as Lauren introduced before, we have our brilliant and lovely host. We have Surina Shukri, the CEO of MDEC. We also have Dato Chuan Beng, the champion of digital productivity Nexus from Malaysia Productivity Corporation. And we have Encik Zaky, the Chief of Cluster Development Officer from SME Corp Malaysia. Now, to survive the new normal, digitalization is definitely key. And I think it was clearly described in the description of the event of the panel discussion today that SMEs will need to accelerate to adopt the digital technologies in order for them to boost their business, in order for them to grow. And with the pace of digitalization around the world in Malaysia, these SMEs will need to have the digital first mindset. And today, as Lauren said earlier, we will explore the various types of government support, initiatives that can actually help the Malaysians, the SMEs in this digital world. I did speak to a few startups and entrepreneurs in the last few weeks, and some of them did share some hindrances. They were sharing with me some of the problems that are stopping them from embarking on digital adoption. There was cash flow problem, lack of knowledge, lack of skills, lack of leadership, and many more. And to kick off today's panel discussion, I would really like to hear from our lovely and brilliant host, Surina. Surina, to lead Malaysia's digital economy forward, businesses, especially SMEs, must adopt digitalization. We know that. They need to adopt digitalization to survive and to remain competitive. With that in mind, what are the most common reasons businesses today have avoided or delayed digitalizing their businesses?
Yeah, so thank you so much and good morning, everyone. So I would say it always starts with why. Okay, so whenever you're trying to do something, there's always starts with why. So prior, I'm going to say pre-COVID, I think there was this notion that it's optional, because for the most part, lots of businesses, they say, hey, it's been working so far. My small buku 55, that works. You know, my using my my old accounting system, that still works. And so the whole the why in terms was not necessary. And many businesses thought that it's optional, but the phenomenon that we start seeing from a macro standpoint was that, hey, the world keeps changing. There's new competitors in the market. There's new business models, and so people start to realize, actually, no, this is a good thing. We should they started to consider it. Now, what's interesting from an SME standpoint, and I really take back, because I've been at MDEC for 18 months now. When I first joined, January of last year, there was still this sense of, okay lah, digitalization is interesting, but do I really need it? There was question mark. In 2019, we started to see momentum building up because businesses started to see things happening around them, all the way from changes that was happening from the big tech companies all the way down to like innovate. So they started to see innovation and start to see, okay lah, I think we should consider this. But what COVID has done is really accelerated and really demonstrated that no, digitalization is key, because not so much it's a big word, but it really, businesses have to be better, faster, cheaper, and continue to deliver an overall good customer experience to retain their customers. So now people have realized, SMEs have realized that it's no longer an option, and digitalization really, it's all about being better, faster, cheaper. So we're no longer at the why. Now SMEs mostly picked up momentum. It's all about their questioning, okay, so now how do I do this? So, but with realizing the how, asking the how, you start to see these questions come out. Like you touched on some of them: cash flow, lack of knowledge, etc., etc. And so that's what we're here to really help address.
Thank you, Surina. So pre-COVID, it was optional, and now it's no longer an option.
People thought that it was optional. It was never so.
People thought that it was an option, that it was optional because the push factor wasn't there yet. Thank you so much. Now, Dato, Digital Productivity Nexus, DPN, has embarked on the Go Big with Digital initiative, right? This initiative aims to achieve the breakthrough productivity via digital and technology adoption for drastic and huge impacts in businesses. That being said, what setback can SMEs expect when digitalizing, and how does DPN Go Big with Digital initiative can assist in alleviating these setbacks?
Thanks, Yan Lin. I think first of all, I would like to express my gratitude to the organizer for inviting me and to be alongside with Surina on this panel, and Encik Zaky as well. It's such a privilege. Happy to meet up with everyone. In responding to your question for SME to digitalize, what kind of setback that they may anticipate, I may want to take that question in different light. Anything that we do, not just digitalization, there will always be challenges, obstacles, setback. And that's where the title of the panel today becomes so relevant. That is the digital leadership in accelerating digitalization. And the key word here is about leadership. When we are faced with adversary challenges, there is a need to call upon the leadership in all our organizations, in all of us, to take the lead. Now, when we think about leadership, often it is kind of giving us the image of, let's say, 1% of the world, 1% of a country, or 1% in a community, but it is not. We are talking about leadership in every organization, and more so in the case of SME. There are about 920,000 micro and also small, medium-sized enterprises. Each and every of those would have at least one leader, at least one. So if you add up, it would be like 1 million leaders out there. And we would like, with our Go Big with Digital, that is to impact that 1 million leaders, to bring the awakening that the leader has enormous responsibility. One of the responsibility is to find survival. Another responsibility is to find the breakthrough for their organization. And the breakthrough in this case when we refer to productivity, it's no longer like 5%, 10%, 20% per annum. When we deploy digital technology and digitalization, we are looking at possibility of 10x, 100x, 1000x of that improvement. So this is where it will then become a very big undertaking. And for any huge undertaking, it has to come from the leadership level, and then from there overcome any other obstacles. First of all, developing people if they don't have the skill set. Secondly, if they don't have funding, find the kind of funding. Thirdly, if they don't have any other sources of competencies, find ways to do that. There's no such thing as something is ready for you to just use it. There will always be the need for tweaking, customizing, adopting, training, and finally achieving breakthrough together. And if we are able to do that, then the whole country will transform into a digital country.
Can I add
Thank
to
you.
that?
Yes, Surina.
Very important point around leadership, because Dato hit it right at the head. When it comes to, so we all know it's not optional. The why is very, very clear. So when we think about leaders, when we think about, the heads, oftentimes, of course, we've got to delegate things in terms of how we run our business, how we do. But the one thing that leaders cannot afford to delegation is not an option, is understanding what we're talking about here. So they really need to step up and take responsibility and say, you cannot delegate the understanding of why digital and sure some of the how. And then you can get the rest of it. It's not your CTO's responsibility, basically. It's the leader's responsibility to really understand how to leverage and how to go big with digital, right? That's the way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Surina. That's a really good point. So leaders, you can delegate mostly everything, but you shouldn't delegate the role of understanding. And that's the way you mentioned about challenges. You mentioned about finding survival. You mentioned about finding breakthrough. Now, Encik Zaky, during the recent MCO and this pandemic, challenges have become more real than ever. And based on SME Corp's recently conducted survey, 17% of SMEs were confident that their business could recover within 3 months, aided by Penjana. So they were confident that they would be able to recover within 3 months. However, the challenge now lays on the speed and agility of these SMEs to adopt differentiated strategies to survive in the new normal, including embracing digitalization for their business operations, and so forth. If Encik Zaky can share with us some of SME Corp's roles and initiatives in ensuring the success rate of digitalization to mitigate the impact of COVID-19 to the SMEs in Malaysia.
Thank you, Jan Lim. First of all, thank you very much to the organizer, MDEC, Surina, and also glad to be here together with Surina and also Dato. And of course, we come to SMEs, challenges in terms of digitalization. Actually, the issues are quite broad. Yeah. So I'm going to start with findings from our previous survey that we did together with Huawei. When it comes to digital adoptions for the SMEs, including those in the category of small, medium, as well as the micro enterprises, on the part of the front end business processes, as well as computing devices, they are there. The adoption rate is more than 90%. But what is lacking is basically at the back end process, the back end business process that they are still struggling to choose the best options. So it comes to ensuring the success of the overall digitalization, because as SME Corp, we are looking at the overall capacity development, the overall health and the development of the SME. So we are looking at all aspects of those capacity building. So not only on the front part, or the device, the hardware, but also looking at the processes as well. So in this case, we basically encourage SMEs to look back at all their processes. If let's say, for example, the manufacturing sectors, if they the small guy, they are still doing the manual process. So they start to look at, mechanizing their processes. And those who are already in the mechanization stage, they need to look at how to automate all those, all the independent machine that they have. And the third stage is basically looking at how to automate the whole process, and as well as digitalization. So those are the areas that we are looking at. Yeah. So it comes to ensuring the success, because how fast the SMEs can adopt the overall digitalization post-COVID or during PKP. So what we did is basically we embed all elements of digitalization, in all our incentive on our programs. From our popular visa programs, our BIP program, our Galakan Export Putra. So we embed element of adoption of ICT, automations inside those programs. Of course, we can't really, come up with a specific programs or fund for digital adoption, because those actually under MDEC are already a lot of funds available within MDEC and other agencies. But what we did is basically looking at assisting SMEs in improving the processes, including improving their the packaging, the certifications of it, with the element of digital inside it. So and this actually covers at every range, every stage of SME development. Whether if they are a micro enterprise or they are small or medium. For example, the micro categories is severely affected during PKP. Because these are penjaja, the micro enterprises that depends on daily income. So what we did is basically we introduce like a listing in our website for this penjaja to go into any heavy pages or any rider apps that they can promote their product. All right. And then we even introduced these micro connector programs. We engage with our delivery partners that focus on helping the micro enterprises in adopting digitalizations. With the simple apps. For example, like Yeza, they are actually having or promoting this WhatsApp for business. This is simple apps for the micro enterprise, very effective for those small guys, penjaja, to use. So we are actually subsidizing, providing incentive for micro enterprises to adopt those things. So of course, the small guys, the medium guys, also they have their own, element that they will. In terms of adoption of ICT, which in terms of the quantum is much higher. But basically what we did in SME Corp is we provide those, opportunity for SMEs to, start adopting elements of digitalization in the process, as well as, looking at the overall aspect, not only on the front element, the devices part, but also the back-end processes, CRM, data is the first element that we need to ensure that the SMEs, even the small guy, the penjaja, they need to making sure that their customers' data is being captured, all right? Otherwise, they are not able to, get the repeat sales, and whether they want to improve the products and expand their outreach. So those are the things that we are doing in SME Corp to ensure that they are, quick in adopting the digitalization, and ensure that whatever they did is basically can bring them benefits. Because in SME, basically we have a group of SMEs, especially the seniors one, that they're already quite some time in the business, and then because of the confusion on the right tools that they want to adopt, often they sometimes are not able to really reap the benefits of those solutions. So those category of SMEs which already tried before, but somehow, they are not make it in terms of getting the benefit. So they're a bit selective, we need to convince them back, and introduce a bite-sized kind of applications, a simple solution for them to start using it back again. Okay,
thank you so much, Mr. Zaky. So that's quite a bit, that SME Corp is doing to actually help accelerate digital adoption for our SMEs. I mean, from injecting digitalization to something as simple as packaging to delivery. So it's actually very important. This comes from my perspective, not only as a PR practitioner, as a comms practitioner, but also as an entrepreneur. Now, Surina, let's come back to our host. MDEC is doing a lot. MDEC is doing a lot to accelerate digital adoption for our startups, entrepreneurs, for our SMEs. But maybe many people don't know what's what. So if you can share with us here the programs or the initiatives that MDEC currently provide, that you currently have, to not only facilitate this digitalization to the people, to the businesses and investors alike, but also, very importantly, to promote leadership in digital adoption.
Yeah, so I will, the mandate is broad, as you can imagine, because when you think about advancing, building a robust digital economy, you need everything from infrastructure all the way to like, education in schools is also relevant as well. But when we think about what we're trying to do with businesses specifically, we want to make sure that people understand that there's a digital journey that you go on, and it's never complete, like because you're never done with digitalization. Somebody in the chat said, one of the comments that the audience put there, they say digital is wajib and digital is lifelong, which means that you could be a micro entrepreneur. You need to think about digital and continuing to move along with that. You could be Petronas and you're still thinking about digital. Now, what we're trying to do is make sure that we help people understand. We want to help with the understanding first and foremost, because again, like I said, you need to know what to do. How do you go about it, and how do you what's relevant to you? So we have this concept of a digital journey. So if you are a micro entrepreneur, like, you can start by just making sure, or if you're not online at all, like you're not digital at all, what is the first thing that you need to do? You need to make sure that you are discoverable. How do you find somebody how does your customer find you online? So we've got programs and things that help micro entrepreneurs get discoverable online, and that first step. So for example, our e-usahawan program, which is really targeted towards micro entrepreneurs, helps people really understand digital marketing so that you can do social selling and everything. So now that's that first step of you being digital. Once you're actually discoverable online, again, this digital journey, you need to be able to transact online. So how do you do commerce? How do you do your business online? So making sure that people understand and leverage e-commerce is another one. So we have a lot of programs that help people understand, and so help sellers get on board to e-commerce and really leverage e-commerce, and also help buyers find people online as well. And then, so that's all about e-commerce. So we've got plenty of programs that talk about that. And then the next one is, you have to make sure that your operations, your businesses is also online. So how do you do, is digital, I mean, how do you make sure that you can, macam Cik Zaky mentioned just now, your customer data, like, do you have a CRM that takes care of that? Do you have accounting systems? Do you have back-end processes that helps you as a business become better, faster, cheaper? And so this whole helping to facilitate and providing the knowledge is what we've been focused on over the last 6 months to build out. So through some of the workshops and webinars that we have with our partners, we really are helping to provide that know-how to say, hey, here are all the things that, you know, you're online already, you're doing e-commerce already. Now let's talk about how to make your businesses much more increase the productivity of your business. So let's digitalize your accounting system, let's digitalize your client relationship management systems, and so forth and so forth. And so helping to curate technology solutions and provide advice on technology solutions is another thing that we do. So for example, earlier this year, we introduced partnering with MOF and Beng National, the small business digitalization grants. So those are grants that's finance, it's matching grants to help businesses find the right sort of solutions to help digitalize some of their back-end processes, everything from payroll to helping your employees work remotely. And then we also have additional programs to help businesses then start to innovate some more. So now you've tried, how do you continue to get your businesses to be even better, faster, and cheaper by leveraging advanced technologies? So this is the whole concept of this digital journey. You start kecil-kecil lah. I mean, that you start with, if you're not online, if you're not, you must be online. And then how do you buy and sell online? Do you have payment systems ready? How do you then digitalize your back office? And then how do you then leverage advanced technologies to do that? So that's what we've been busy as far as business digitalization is concerned.
Thank you, Surina. So I've just been prompted that we've got about 10 minutes left. So fast, so soon. Now, I would like to address some of the questions posted by our attendees here. So I think panelists can also go to the Q&A section where you can see some of the questions. There was this question earlier from Anonymous about a film that went missing. So maybe we can start with the question from Shamini Munyandi. So Shamini is asking, is there any help for SME that just started less than 1 year? We are SE, social enterprise, in service industry that's targeting on B40 group hiring. Help from MDEC or for outreach programs, or maybe from Dato and from SME Corp as well. So I'm not sure who would like to take this. Probably Surina first.
Yeah, I would say, you see, we get questions like this all the time. But my advice is you have to be specific in terms of what kind of help you're looking for. Because there's a lot of, between all the different organizations that's out there, there's a lot, the government right now provides a lot of help. For example, today we're sharing content. That is also help. We're providing free content, free information to people largely. So when you think about help, you have to be a little bit more specific in terms of what kind of help you're looking for. Because there's a lot of information out there. Like if you're looking for help with e-commerce, then there's a lot. So between the different programs that's out there, there's a lot that you could do. If you're looking for help in terms of developing your leadership capabilities or your business capabilities, there are accelerator programs that you could apply to. For example, if you're looking for help to learn how to build your business, there's also programs that deal with that. But for the most part, I think people are looking for funding help, and that's where I think there's still an area that we continue to we provide support, but from an MDEC standpoint, like other than the grants that we mentioned just now, the Smart Business Digitalization Grant and then the Smart Automation Grants, those are the kind of funding support that we have. But in the system, there's still funding support that's out there.
Okay, thank you so much, Surina. There are many questions, so I'm just going to pick those that I think I can address to different panelists so that we can have Dato and Zaky to share their point of view as well. There is this question from Jin Yin Liu. If a company's team members are so used to do things the traditional way, how do you move them towards digitalization? And then there's a follow-up question from Fazan Fadila. In one of my employment, my team was assigned to deal with digital culture. It was not easy, but these were the main list out. Okay, so he was sharing some of his takeaway. Now, that's the way. The question: what do you think if they are so used to the traditional way, and how do they move towards digitalization?
Yeah. Now, I would like to suggest that the person take a pause to do some visualization. And that is to imagine the same organization, the same business, 5 years later, and 10 years later. At the same time, do another journey of imagination back 5 years ago, back 10 years ago. And then by having the chance to scan the imagination, it is very possible for one to see that the world has changed so much in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years. And the pace of this change, especially with all the digital adoption and digital enablement, will accelerate. So the next 5 years, the next 10 years, have the wildest imagination. And where would this organization be in the next 5 to 10 years? And to be there, then how to get there? And could there be some form of digital enablement as part of the journey? I really like what Surina has mentioned, is the digital journey. And fortunately and unfortunately, a digital journey is going to be lifelong. So with that imagination, with that, perhaps with a new sense of inspiration at the leadership level, it is to be able to inspire others, to call upon the entire team to move forward. There will always be this state of unreadiness. However, if you look at the recent experience during MCO and just before the opening of MCO, MITI says whoever SME want to operate the business as they need to get the business going, that maybe they are part of essential services, maybe they are part of the supply chain and so forth. They could apply online. I repeat the word, they could apply online to get approval to operate and resume the business. Guess what? In the first half a day, 100,000 SMEs applied online. By the end of the day, 170,000 SMEs applied online. So I would question when people say SMEs are not ready. When this application is made available only through online, in one day you have 170,000 applicants. So it means necessity is the mother of all the initiative and all the innovation.
Thank you so much, Dato. So you're right, and I like the way you put it. You know, have the most wildest imagination and try to imagine where you want to be in the next 5 years, and you will find a way how to get there. And you are also right. You know, the thing about the human nature is when we are pushed. You know, when you are desperate, you want something, and suddenly you're able to do it. Now, Zaky, there is this question, one of the most famous questions in our ecosystem, grants. So a question from Sakura Abdul Rahman. Maybe let's make this quick. May I know what grants available from SME Corp? I hope Sakura is asking about digital adoption grant. So maybe we'll just let Zaky take this up. Then I'll move to the last question for today's panel discussion.
Thank you, Lim. When it comes to grants, we have quite a number. One is based on the category. The medium guys, the small guys, they can go up to, apply for BizUp program. The grant is up to 400,000, 50% matching. When it comes to grant, meaning that you don't have to pay back, I saw some question that there is, sometimes grant got rejected. It is actually, as long as you are qualified, you are defined as SMEs, and then because you don't have to pay back, meaning that the criteria is quite light in that sense. Yeah. So, and then if you are doing putra companies, you can go for putra enterprise enhancement program. BIP, it can go up to 500,000 matching, and this is quite special, where if you are small guys or the micro guys, you can get up to 70% grant. Yeah. And then the way we do it is basically normally is in the form of reimbursement, meaning that you have to spend the whole amount first and then it can reimburse back to you. But in this case, during the PKP and just to ease up all those challenges, right, we pay direct grant portion to whoever supplier that you are engaged with. If let's say you are, purchasing the equipment or solution from your vendor, we pay direct to the vendor on the grant portion. And we have this, for those involved in export activities, we have Go Global programs, yeah, as well as the Galakan Export Minputra, those Minputra companies who are ready for export. So this is another areas that we are also focusing for SMEs to continue, surviving in this COVID. So do visit our website. We have, information about what is available in our, in SME Corp in terms of grant. Also, since SME Corp is the central coordinating agency for SME development, so we have the information, a compilation of all information about what is available by other ministries. We have close to 60 ministries and close to 60 agencies that are actually providing, assistance, fund, grant to SMEs in this country. So we are quite lucky. So go to SME Corp website, as well as you go to smeinfo.com.my. So those information about available funding is there already.
Thank you so much, Zaky. So again, I think there are a few questions about grants from others as well. I'm very sure the information will be available on www.smecorp.gov.my. Now, we have come to the last few minutes of our panel discussion today, and I would like our panelists to leave us their last words. If you can share with us maybe some tips, some advices, or some takeaway when it comes to digital leadership and in accelerating digitalization. We're going to start with Surina, followed by Dato, and then Zaky.
So my advice is, like, I'm really encouraged by the fact that now there's this fear over digitalization is not as much as before, and everybody is now in the stage where it's how do I do, what do I do? So the how really is start small. You don't need to have big before you start, quote unquote, on your process of digitalization. And then two, when you think about digital, also think about not just the technology, but whole concept in technology. But you also need to make sure that from your business standpoint, you look at how the process and how you factor that with people. Because kadang-kadang ni, sometimes you think you buy that software and then you happily ever after. But no, you need to invest in your process and your people as well. It's always people, process, technology. Start small and think people, process.
Thank you so much, Surina. I think one of our participants' mic is not muted, so we can hear the echo. Probably Amanda Chin. So if we can have everyone, okay, now it's muted because the echo was disrupting Surina's answers earlier. So now if we can hear from Dato.
Yeah, I would say go big with digital. Big, B-I-G. Embrace the kind of breakthrough thinking. And I stand for integrity. Digital will give you that consistency, transparency, accountability, and therefore that result in the quality as well as customer loyalty. Integrity brings customer loyalty. And lastly, G means good. It's a force of good for environment, for all stakeholders, from customers all the way to the shareholders, of course, staff in between as well. So digital is a force of good. May the digital force be with everyone.
Thank you so much, Dato. Now, Zaky, if we can hear the last few words to wrap up today's panel discussion.
Yeah, I encourage SMEs, micro enterprises to reach out. Look out to those success stories. In agencies, SME Corp. Normally, we need to show them the money. Meaning that if you adopt those technologies, you can definitely see the money coming in. Yeah. So immediately there and then, actually, you can gain something once you are going into digitalization. So reach out, look for help. Visit our website, visit MDEC website. There's a lot of ton of information about help out there for you to start. Surina just now mentioned about the journey. So please visit those websites, get information, and engage with us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. With that, that will be the end of our discussion today. I am very sure there are many new information, new knowledge, and takeaways that we will be able to take back and use to accelerate our digitalization. Thank you very much to our three brilliant panelists, to all of you who participated in today's session here in Zoom, as well as on Facebook live streaming. And of course, last but not least, to our host, MDEC, for organizing this digital summit. I hope today's session has been beneficial for all of us, and thank you.
Thanks, Yan Lim, and thank you so much to the rest of our panelists as well, Surina, Dato, and Zaky. Thank you so much for joining us here at the SME Digital Summit 2020. I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. To everyone else who's watching, to our 999 attendees, let's give them a virtual round of applause, a job well done. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys soon.
Thank
Enjoy the rest of
you.
your day.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.